Hi, my name is Hannah Sweet, and I'd like to welcome you to the Faculty Center demonstration. The Faculty Center is one of the new self-service centers that's going to be part of the new system that's rolling out in March. So I'm currently logged in as a faculty member, Deb Credit, and I'll just show you the navigation to get to the Faculty Center. So once you're logged in, it's main menu, self-service, Faculty Center, and I'm just going to click any one of these. It'll take me to the Faculty Center. So as you can see, I'm logged in as Deborah Credit. One of the things you might notice is that Deborah Credit has a Faculty Center tab, but also the Advisor Center tab. Deb is a faculty or an instructor. She's also a program coordinator. The Advisor Center I'll cover under a separate demonstration. So in the Faculty Center, one of the first things you'll see is the My Schedule tab. And on the My Schedule, I'm currently looking at the Winter 2015 schedule. As I scroll down, I can see my teaching schedule for the winter semester. I'm currently set to teach 3 courses for the winter, ACC 402, 426, and 427. In the schedule, in the grid, I can see there's a link to my class roster, a link to my grade roster. I can click for class details, course details, information about the course, the class title, the number of students that are enrolled in that particular section. And this is automatically updated as students enrolled, drop, those numbers would change. I see the days and times that I'm teaching that course, the room, currently TBA, and then the date. So when does my class start and when does it finish? And I see that same information for all of the courses that I'm scheduled to teach, or I'm on the teaching assignment for that class. I can also view my schedule in a weekly schedule grid. So this is the weekly schedule, and rather than seeing it in list format, I see it in timetable or graph format, and this is customizable. At the bottom, I can deselect my non-teaching days, whatever days those might be, and I can refresh the calendar, and now I've got Monday through Friday. I can change my start time, and I can say start my calendar at, whoops, we don't want 9 a.m. because I actually start teaching at 8. So start my calendar at 8 a.m. And once I've got it set as to how I like it, I can, at the bottom of my calendar page, I can select print. One option will give me a PDF, which I could save and or print, and the other one will give me a print-friendly version of the web page. Back to the Faculty Center, and still on the My Schedule tab, I can change the term. So one of the nice features about the Faculty Center is as soon as future terms have been assigned, or I've got my teaching assignment for future terms, I can see those. And if I wanted to scroll back to a previous term, I could see what I had been scheduled for that previous term. And any information that's available for those terms, whether it's a class roster, a grade roster, list of students, classrooms, I've got access to all of that information. I know where I was, when I was there, what students I was teaching, and what final grades I gave to those students also. We'll look at the class roster and the grade roster in a minute. I can show enrolled classes only. So if I had courses where there were no student enrollments, where there were no students actually enrolled, that would limit the list to only show me classes where I had students in. So show all classes, and again, change the term. So that's sort of the one stop for looking at my schedule information, whether it's in a list or in a timetable format. And then for detailed information about each of these courses. So I'm on my fall 2014 term, so a term that's just finished. And I can view, this is the grade roster, the class roster, and then the grade roster. The icons are up at the top here and explains exactly what each of those are for. But I can look at the class roster for ACC 120. And what the class roster gives me is how many students could be in my class, how many are currently enrolled in the class, and then I get my class list. So this is basically replacing faculty tools, which is the spot where we currently go to get our class rosters and enter final grades. This is going to be the new spot for class rosters and final grades. I have a link to photos for all of my students. If there's a photo on file, I can view it. If there's an email on file, I can email students. So in my class roster, I get photo, a link, I get their student ID, name, and the program that they're in. So I can see right in my class roster, so especially a course that's taken by students from a number of different programs, for example, an English course or a liberal studies course where we get students from lots of different programs. Sometimes it's nice to see exactly where they're coming from. Are they coming from technical programs? Are they coming from business programs? And it just gives you a little bit more background information about where your students are coming from. I have notify functionality here, so I have the ability to notify 1, 2, 3, or all of my students. I can manually select which students I would like to notify by email, of course, or I can select all students and I can send them an email. Again, notify selected or notify all students. And one of the really nice features here is that the email's from me, it's to me, and all of my student email addresses are in the BCC field. So they're hidden from all of the other students, all of the recipients. Nobody sees who the email has been sent to. So I can edit the subject, I can type in my message text, I receive a copy of the email, so I've got a record of communication that was sent either to my entire class or to specific students from my class. Back on the class roster page, again, I can view photos and I can view those individually. There we've got Sammy Sting. And I can scroll through those one at a time, or I can just link to the photos and view the full list again. I can download my class roster. So I would want to download my class roster. It downloads into an Excel spreadsheet, which I can then format. I can add columns and keep my during semester grades. Use my Excel spreadsheet to calculate my final grades, but I have the option of downloading my grade class roster right there. I can also request a print-friendly version if I wanted to. Again, it's a print-friendly version of the web page. But to save and keep a copy, I would download the Excel spreadsheet, and then I can manipulate it and manage my grades that way. Tests, assignments, etc. So if I wanted to change class, so currently I'm at ACC 120, change class, it takes me back to my schedule page, sort of my home page for my faculty center, and then I can select a class roster for a different class. Again, if I wanted to see a different semester, a different term, and I wanted to start looking at my class rosters for my winter semester, I would change my term and select the class there. The other option or item I can access from this page is my grade roster page. So the information that we've got set up for the demonstration, we've got previously graded grade rosters from the fall semester and then activated or newly created grade rosters for the winter 2015 semester, just so I can show you both what it looks like accessing a previously graded class and what the functionality or how to grade a class that's not graded. So ACC 120, I previously graded, submitted my final grades. They're ready to be posted and then made available to students on their course history or their transcript. And what you'll see here, student ID, student name, the official grade, the program and plan that they're in again, the level, and then the status. So you'll see the status here is that these grades are posted. So they've been submitted, they've been posted to the student record, and then depending on when grades are available to students, then once they're posted, they're visible, or they can be made visible to the student. Process there is the same moving forward, when students can view grades and when they cannot. So these were graded A, C, D, B+, etc. So I can download. So if I graded this a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 6 months ago, last year, I can still go in and I can still download a version of my grade roster if I didn't do it at the time. So just like my class roster, I can go back and see who is in my class. I can now go back and see what grades I assigned or recorded for those students. The grade roster type is final grade. PeopleSoft does have the functionality to store midterm grades. For the moment, for moving forward, we're doing final grade. We're replacing the faculty tools, which is where we post our final grades. And again, this is for ACC 120, and it was for the fall. So changing my class back to my schedule, if I wanted to record grades for a class that I just finished. So we're assuming that winter 2015 semester is ending, exams have finished, I've done all my marking, I've calculated final grades, and I'd now like to record them. So I'm going to change my term because I was viewing winter 2014, so I'm going to change to winter 2015, and I'm going to select the first class that I would like to grade. So we'll look at ACC 402. So again, I've got the grade roster for ACC 402. The grade roster type is final grade. And just to the right here, I've got the grade roster action. And we'll look at each of these really quickly. But when you first open your grade roster, the status is not reviewed. I haven't looked at it previously. I haven't done anything. I haven't entered any grades or saved any information. So I've got exactly the same information that I have in my class roster. I've got all of my students that were in my class at the time that the grade roster was created. And for each student, I have a drop down, and I can start entering my final grades based on what I've calculated and what a student has earned. So individually, I can assign grades. If I wanted to, for example, I had my Excel spreadsheet where I'd been recording my grades, and I'd sorted it by final grade. And I had all of my A students graded and grouped together, and then my B students. So rather than in alphabetical order, I had them sorted in my spreadsheet by final grade order. I could quickly go through and say Arthur, Gary, and Jake, and select to assign an A to all three of those students. So I can assign individually, and I can assign in groups depending on, it gives me complete ability to do that either way. I can download, again, similar to my completed grade roster. So what I can do here, one of the things, that I wanted to show you, as soon as I click in and I start entering grades on my grade roster, you'll get a warning message. There's a lovely sort of yellow caution sign like you see on the road, telling me that I have unsaved data on this page. So what it means is I've entered some grades, or I've selected them from the drop-down. I haven't saved them. I haven't changed the status on my grade roster. And what it's done is it has disabled the links. I cannot, by mistake, leave this page and not save the grade. So if I've got a large class, I've got 45 students, or I've got 60 students, and I've gone through and entered all of their grades and accidentally clicked out of the page, and all of my grades are lost. I can't do that. All right, I would actively have to tell the warning to go away and enable the links. So that's there automatically. It's a safety, stops me from making mistakes. So once I've entered my grades, I would change the status, and I have two options. I can change the status to ready for review, and you'll notice that the drop downs have disappeared and the grade has been assigned to that student. It's been saved, but it hasn't been approved or submitted or posted. So if I were co-teaching and I wanted the faculty member that I was teaching with to have a look at the final grades before I did submit them, I could save them as ready for review, and somebody else can go in and look at them, and you can then save to approved, and I now have a message that says I haven't graded all of my students. So another good sort of catch there for faculty, you have to enter a final grade for all of your students. So I would have to change this back to not reviewed, enter the rest of the grades for my students, and then change it to approved and save. Okay, but if I save it as not reviewed, I go back, I can clear all, where am I? Back to my schedule. So that's the functionality of the Faculty Center. Again, we've got the My Schedule where I can view my teaching assignments and information about where I'm teaching, when I'm teaching. When I go to my class roster, I see information about the specific students in my class, and grade roster. And again, grade rosters are available when the grade window is open for faculty, and I enter my grades there. Again, the option to view historical or previous semester's grade rosters and still have access to download them is great. So that's it for the Faculty Center. Thank you for watching.